Dire team ban.
Hello everyone and welcome to SDL 2014 Season 3, or Season 1. I thought it was Season 3. My name is Berkeley. Joining me is the effervescent Silk, and we represent 4 States Casting. Now this is a matchup between Belem 5 and Yao Mad. So make sure you guys keep an eye out on this matchup because it promises to be intense. So first up bands coming straight up from Belem 5 is the classic Invoker band with the current meta. Invoker being picked up, I think in the professional league right now since the 6.80 patch, looking at about 80% choice or ban rate. At the moment, so it's one of the most popular pickups right now, or bans for most teams in the amateur and the professional scene.
Yeah, and with that mana burn, who can blame them? No one likes to be EMP'd.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things I actually picked up on, I think you told me, Silk, is that when he EMPs, he actually gets mana back as well, which shows how much I play Invoker. I had no idea.
Yeah, I need to learn my Quas Wax Invoker. I used to be one of those Exort Quas ones before it got nerfed. I'm sad. I like the new meta with it, but it makes me sad because I can't play it.
Yeah, it's alright. The Visage is the second band coming out from Belem 5, and then we had an interesting first band with the Ember Spirit. So the Ember Spirit hasn't seen a lot of professional play, but he is quite new to the Captain's Mode tournament scene. So I think we haven't quite seen his full capabilities in terms of team composition. So a ban out from Yao Mad, followed by the Nature's Prophet, which is a classic split pushing ban out. So they don't want to face the wrath of the Nature's Prophet split push, and so the Belem 5 are going to pick up a Timbersaw straight up, so that's got some great uplane potential, some good nuke damage with their magic nukes, and Yao Mad are going to answer with a Nyx. Who do you think we're going to see paired with this Nyx, Silk?
That's a good question. I think we'll have to see some kind of ranged, probably another stunner, just because that Nyx stun isn't quite so reliable these days.
Storm Spirit has arrived.
Wow, Storm Spirit, nice.
Dire team pick.
Always makes the game interesting.
Yeah, and a really early mid pickup. Yao Mad have got the confidence in their Storm Spirit player, because generally picking a mid this early allows for Belem 5 to really work their team around and make sure that they can get the best laning situation with their safe lane as well as their mid matchup. So the Belem 5 have a lot of flexibility right now to change their team composition to suit this Storm Spirit mid pick.
I actually read a guide the other day as far as versing OD mid if you're an intel hero. Basically what they recommend you do is you get a bottle and you let him sap your intel 2 or 3 times, and you just suffer missing the last hits for a few seconds. After you've blown all your spells and nukes, you've got no mana, you let him sap your intel twice, then you pull back and then use your bottle and then let it wear off, and because everything's percentage based, you get an increase of the percentage of the mana you had. So 80%, and then your mana like doubles, you actually end up with stupid amounts of mana regen. It's quite funny, and I had it done to me, and it hurts. It's not nice, and there's nothing you can do because you have to sap their intel. So
that's actually a really, really smart play that I'd never even thought of. So that's a brilliant strategy to verse an OD.
Yeah, because basically the whole plan is you're just eventually going to nuke him out with spells, and then he has to go back, and that's when you get your last hits in peace.
Yeah, and reducing your intel, it's exactly like dropping your treads or any sort of attribute giving item. If you drop that before you regen, then when you pick it up again, you get the percentage back. So
yeah, exactly.
If you're like 90% full, you can, and then you pick up your stats again, you'll actually get an increase in your regen. So that's a classic professional Dota move, or an advanced technique for regen. So I think it's a really good idea, and it's really nice that you looked it up and have brought it to the watchers here on Twitch TV and on Dota TV as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's always good too, because I think OD gets a bit abused in pubs.
Radiant team pick.
Oh, for sure. Generally, when you pick an OD, you're guaranteed to lose your lane. Generally, in a pub match.
Oh wow,
So the
Storm Spirit.
IO picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Storm
could be
Spirit and
interesting.
IO, which is an interesting combination. We don't see that very often. And I'm wondering whether they're going to be pairing the IO with a carry that's going to be picked a little bit later, or they want to use a Storm Spirit IO combination with the right click and the static remnants and overcharge. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
The thing people don't realize about Io is he has a stupid amount of AoE damage with those spirits if played
Reserve
well.
time.
And combining that with a Storm Spirit may be lethal.
Yeah, and especially because you can use the Storm Spirit to zip in. And get in really close proximity, and so that then your IO doesn't have to sort of sit at a really long range and try and get those spirits to hit those heroes, which can dodge a little bit easier when you have those spirits out at maximum range. You
Absolutely.
can sort of duck in between those spirits.
That's right. And it's 500 damage just from the spirits when that's maxed. That's a lot of impact damage.
Disruptor.
Then you add on this. That's gonna hurt. If
So you're
they,
going to see
Radiant
a
team pick.
Disruptor.
I like it
Yeah,
because
Disruptor
the silence
picked up
would be
in
enough
answer
for the
to the
Storm
IO.
Spirit. And
And
Glimpse.
that's huge. If Storm Spirit gets
Yeah.
stuck,
That's right. And Glimpse has a
Storm Spirit gets stuck
delay.
in that kinetic field, and yes, depending on how
Yep.
far they get sent back.
That's right. So if he
depends how long
goes
it takes.
if he uses up all his mana trying to leave, and Disruptor's managed to click on the Glimpse, unless he's still ulting while the Glimpse comes into effect, he'll be pulled right back where he was.
10 seconds remaining.
And especially if you get a Disruptor,
5
even if he
seconds
hasn't
remaining.
if Storm Spirit hasn't run out of mana, if he gets glimpsed back into a kinetic field and gets ultied
Yep.
across the top
He's
with a
done.
Storm, that's going to silence him, and he's not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we have the
IO
secret. Okay.
Chaos Knight combination. Yeah, IO Chaos Knight was a very popular pairing with a 6/8 patch. Because the IO tether, when it crossed heroes, actually stunned. And what Chaos Knight used to do was, jump in with the IO,
10
use
seconds
his
remaining.
reality rift to bring the himself right into
5
range with
seconds remaining.
the enemy hero, and the tether would stun the hero, and then you could use the Chaos
Radiant
Bolt
team
to get an extra stun on top of that. So that was a really, really powerful combination. So now that IO in the 6.79 patch was the stun was actually reduced to a 100% movement speed reduction, but no hard stun. It has nerfed it a little bit,
10 seconds
but
remaining.
it'll be interesting to see if Yaomad do take advantage of the move
5
speed reduction
seconds
with
remaining.
the reality rift with the Chaos Knight.
Definitely, and I'd love to see a mantra on the Chaos Knight. I feel like
Reserve time.
sometimes people don't get it enough. That anyone like Chaos Knight who has the interaction with his illusions, regardless of whether they're ultied, picked up, or manted, I feel like you have to get the manta. Just the fact that he can reality rift and they will automatically come is awesome.
One of the most terrifying things I ever versed in a personal pub that I was playing in was a Chaos Knight who had a Manta style, he had an Illusion Rune bottled,
Yep.
and he had his ulti.
Yep,
And
your own
it
private
was-
army there.
It was the scariest thing I've
Yep.
ever seen. Yeah.
I've been a
was.
Chaos Knight, and just with a
That
manta.
two from the mix.
That's right. Sorry?
Yeah. That was 7 illusions that
Yep,
he had.
that's right. Well, I've been a Chaos Knight and had just the normal Manta and the armlet. And I turned my armlet on, manted up, and they had a Luna who was, up to that point, out carrying me, reality rifted,
10 seconds
and
remaining.
just got crits. I just got 2 crits in a row and went, douche, and she just blew up.
5 seconds
There's nothing she
remaining.
could do. She couldn't even BKB.
Yeah, and Chaos Knight is just one of those overwhelming heroes, especially
Radiant
if you
team
verse them in a 1-on-1
Yep.
or a 1v2 situation with his illusions, because dealing 100% damage, that's
Dire
sure they'll
team
take a
pick.
little bit of extra damage, but they are hitting for a fully fledged Chaos
Yep.
Knight.
That's right. And that people don't realize that Chaos Strike is actually a really, really high crit percentage. It's very low chance, so he can potentially hit for 67 times without it proccing. Doesn't really happen though. He generally gets them fairly consistently, and it's a lot. 300% of your damage is obscene.
So a Treant and a picked up for as their final picks. The Luna is hard carry for Belem 5. They're going to be throwing their puck mid. Timbersaur's going to be in the off lane, and they're going to have most likely a defensive tri lane with this Luna. Luna generally is a little squishy baby in the early stages of the game, so you need to make sure that she doesn't get too many deaths. The Treant, which is an interesting pickup for Yamad, I'm not sure whether they're going to be going a Nyx Assassin offlane or if they're going to throw Treant Protector in the offlane and get those early XP and levels so that he can upgrade the living armor and heal up those towers. What do you reckon, Silk?
I personally would put him in the offlane just because also Leech Seed is more than viable to keep you alive in the offlane. There's been plenty of times where I've been in the offlane with Treant, even just in the pub scenario, and that Leech Seed, just turn around Leech Seed and living armor, and you're just so hard to kill because the whole time they're engaging you, you're being healed. And they're losing health. And
one of my favorite pubs that I've ever played, we had a Treant in the carry position. He got a Radiance at about the 21-minute mark, and then just an AC after that, and he was just terrifying. It was
absolutely.
awesome.
I mean, he's got that 3.3 strength gain, so he's definitely got a lot of stat gain to go with everything he gets, and he just ends up with obscene health and strength. And his right click starts off at almost 90. You can't mess with that.
It's huge. It's almost as big as Tiny.
But we're going to see him in an aggro try.
Is on yeah, maybe. Looks like it with the IO and CK. So on the side of the Radiant, we're getting match number 1 underway between Yamad and Belem 5. Now, the match 1, we're going to see Efreet on the Treant Protector. He looks like he's going to be going into an aggressive tri lane with Wardenophion Spast. I'm just going to call him Ward on the Chaos Knight, and on the IO supporting him is MTK, and heading into mid will be the Storm Spirit, and Kitsune is on the Storm Spirit, and then we have a safe lane farming Nyx Assassin trying to get that early level 6, and on that is Ixuzu Belia, or I'm just going to call him Zuzu. And do you want to introduce the Dire there, Silk?
Yep, on the Luna we have Friskin. Supporting her we have on the Disruptor Aquino.
How this will turn
and
out.
the Rubik is Chloe Grace Moritez, I think. Puck in mid we have Nicole, and Timbersaw offlane as Nyx, just to make life hard.
So Nyx is going to be throwing out a chakram on the Nyx, and it's going to be so difficult.
I actually realise what they're doing now. They're probably going to combine the living armor or the heals that Wisp gets, because whatever he's tethered to gets 150 times. So they're probably going to go for a first blood here. Won't actually get there, but they're pretty close.
Great illusion rune.
Yep, and there we go. There's the living armor. Wisp is getting healed. Chaos Knight's getting healed for 150% of that. That's quite a brutal combination there.
And so the first of many
and
has been hewn.
Nature's the Leech Seed, and then he's probably going to be getting the living armor straight after that. The armor increase for that is just huge.
They'll be putting the living armor on the IO.
Right clicks just don't do anything.
Absolutely, and I reckon they'll put the living armor on the IO because then it'll just be so much more regen coming through. Because, like I said, the 150% gets obscene very quickly. I mean, they're quite happily tower diving here.
Reality Rift coming out of the Luna, defensive kinetic field coming in. So these guys are really, when you talk about an aggressive tri lane, these guys are really aggressive. So Yamad really putting pressure on this Luna and not allowing her to get any sort of free farm. Because one of the other SDL matches that we casted today, this Luna just got free farm in her tri lane, and she smashed it later in the game. So some great aggressive plays. Now, however,
if they let Treant get caught up
a bit too far,
I think they'll be okay. Actually, they do have the Treant, and Treant is gonna. Yep, they're gonna get healed from that. I reckon they can basically sit here with the sustain they've got from the IO and the heals from the Treant. I think they can sit here and just cause lots and lots of hassle for Friskin. They haven't actually.
Absolutely incredible lane.
Yep.
I've not seen a lane like this in so long.
No, I haven't seen this in ages.
More right clicks, down goes the Leech Seed.
Yep, and the Leech Seed still gives health even once the hero's dead. Since that patch, they decided to take away his living armor, but they gave him the improved Leech Seed. And what do you do with this? You can rotate people out, but then you're giving up other lanes.
this has to be one of the best aggressive tri-lane combinations I've ever seen in an amateur tournament. This is brilliant. Some great plays coming out from Yamad.
The only time I've ever played this aggressive is when I did a dual lane with a Pudge and an Omni Knight.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Yep, because basically you just repel the Pudge, he charges tower and the tower ignores him because he's not hitting heroes, he's just rotting. And he's not getting hurt by the rock because he's repelled.
Not on my watch.
So Luna's actually doing alright. She's got 7 last hits, which is impressive considering the pressure they've been under. She's actually equal with Chaos Knight for last hits, but unfortunately I think some of Chaos Knight's last hits were on heroes.
Yeah, and looking at the overall net worth so far, as early as it is, Chaos Knight has taken a big lead. Luna's sitting on less than 1,000 gold, while Chaos Knight is almost double on 1,700.
Absolutely, but we do have what I was saying in one of our previous casts, that it's more of a psychological thing this early. You do get a bit of gold, the gold advantage is definitely there, but the psychological advantage is the huge thing, because there's not actually a huge experience difference between Chaos Knight and Luna.
Yeah,
because level 1 heroes just aren't worth that much XP.
If the Lunas, yeah, and if the Luna is still a little bit, confident and okay in her abilities, these supports are just going to be absolutely terrified because they cannot stand up to a reality rift from a Chaos Knight who right now is already full mana.
Absolutely. I am an absolute fan of the IO. I was rocking the IO before the nerf. Unfortunately, once the nerf came in, it was a bit harder in the pub section because you had to rely on the other person a lot more. And if you're playing with random people or people who aren't used to it, it was just too hard, so I stopped. But I loved my IO. Get the soul ring up and or the bottle, and just sit there and there's nothing. They can't force you out of lane.
Yeah, and look, Warden of Eons Past, which now I've finally been able to find out what this says, but Wardens of Eons Past, the carry on this Chaos Knight, has really done some great plays in his reality rifted the correct targets, got that movement speed reduction, and saved the Chaos Bolt stun until the very last moment. So right there,
he's dead already.
Down goes the Disruptor. He's going to go down yet again.
Even if he hadn't been hit, he was dead as soon as that Leech Seed hit. That's so brutal.
Both these supports are sitting at level 3.
And they're having to buy TPs because they can't leave Luna alone.
Yeah.
So that's even worse. They're losing money and then they have to buy TPs to save the carry from being ganked at the tower. And Chaos Knight's done some really good plays here, understanding the tower mechanics. Oh, going for the Rubik again. I think he's got him, even if the tree doesn't get there.
If he can get a Leech Seed, Rubik will drop. The reality rift, extra damage. Now he's going on with the overcharge from the IO. IO's making sure that he survives, and now the Leech Seed comes out and Disruptor is going to go down. They're just ignoring the Luna at this stage. They know that, she's not going to be farming during this entire time, and the more they keep these supports down, the less effective they're going to be towards this mid-game stage.
Absolutely.
And what do the supports do? What would you do in this situation, Silk? Is there anything that can be done?
I would have picked up the second point in Glimpse, but that's it. That's all you can do. I probably would have gone Glimpse over the Thunderstrike for my second skill, because you're not going to be able to burn through them. So I would probably have just gone, fine, we'll just make it so the Chaos Knight goes away.
Tower is under attack.
I don't think it would have helped. I don't think it would have been enough. The only other thing they could possibly do is rotate the Timbersaw up in place of someone else. Nyx isn't an incredibly strong offlane, so they could possibly put the Luna down there and have her save, and then it doesn't matter what happens up here.
Dire's heroes denied their top tower.
Yeah, and Nyx doesn't really, as you said, he's not a very strong offlaner. He's not going to provide much in terms of harass for any hero that goes down there, so if they did send the Luna down to just sort of free farm and get some levels, some solo levels against the Nyx, that might be a decent strat. Although Nyx is level 6 right now. He's hit 6, same with Timbersaw.
So it may actually be too late to do that option now. They seem to have almost abandoned Luna entirely.
Luna's waiting. Yeah, and Io knows that she's there.
So we've got a buckler on IO already.
Yep. 6 minutes in.
Yeah.
And he's got a wand as well as a bottle as on top of that. So he hasn't gone a rush for a mech. He's actually gotten the bottle and the wand for some extra regen for his tether targets.
Yep.
And we see now the Storm Spirit has finished farming up, or has moved into base to regen back up. We have the Treant Protector who rotated mid to get that little bit of extra XP, and he's just gonna move.
Definitely.
Move back out.
The worst thing about versing someone like Treant Protector is you know you're not going to get that grind, so you're not going to have that random tower gold come in at the nice time. You have to go claim them. You don't just get them. And that's the worst bit about versing a Treant Protector. You know that you can just sit there and it's not going to get any better. You're not going to get that magical tower.
You can't just deal a little bit of damage, back off, deal a little bit of damage, back off.
That's right.
You
I mean,
just have to take it down in one big hit.
there's plenty of times I've gone, oh well, who cares?
At this stage of the game.
That's right. I mean, there's been plenty of times I've gone, who cares? I want the map control. Walked up, done enough damage that they can deny it, just let them deny it. Which isn't great, but it's better to have the map control. Like if you're trying to do a Roshan or something. Oh, Chaos Knight on the Luna. The Luna's going to go down.
Timbersaw has gone and missed the Timber Chain though, so he's gonna be fine against the Chaos Knight. And I think if he had hit that Timber Chain and jumped in, Chaos Knight would have just turned around because Chaos Bolt has one of the slowest cooldowns, and now comes the gank.
The relocate.
The relocate gank from the IO. Amazing coordination and great teamwork and communication for Yaomad. And now IO's just going to take him right back into lane to keep on farming.
Yep.
Now Treant's rotating around and he's trying to get a little bit of vision. I think he's going to chuck a ward up here, which he does. I think Timbersaw saw it though, so they might be getting some D-wards happening nice and quickly. He's going to go on the Treant. He's dealing a fair amount of damage.
If I was Treant, I would just turn around and Leech Seed. There we go.
Leech Seed pops on. Yeah, now Storm Spirit doing a fair bit of damage. He's got haste, so he should be fine.
Yep.
And Treant manages to get away with a little bit of extra regen with his
there we go. The did D-ward.
Lovely.
Another trick I've actually heard and read about lately is being very obvious about things like this. So if you're in the advanced position, you do something like that and make sure you get seen doing it, so then you can pick off key players when they come to D-ward. Like for example, if they've got not so much this game, but if they've got a key support that they rely on in a team fight, you pick them off using that and then fight.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good strat to go with. It's just this deep. With the ward that Treant did put in, this deep, you don't want to engage around this close to the tower and this close to their base.
That's right.
When it's before 10 minutes in the match, that's so
absolutely
aggressive. I feel.
Actually, one thing Chaos Knight has been doing really impressively. Well, Luna's going to die again.
Now Nick's going to get caught out here. He's going to go down to the last things. But Luna, actually got exploded by the Chaos Knight.
Yep.
Now though,
Whisper's just casually being healed by Leech Seed, almost back to full.
Juking around the trees. Timbersaw is just cannot find the last. On this IO.
IO's gone out. He will be coming back though. He's going to come back full health just in time to give Chaos Knight.
And he's going to bring a Nyx back with him. Now buyback from Nyx, and now IO brings in the Nyx, stuns out the Rubik. Rubik goes down. Ultra kill going the way of Chaos Knight. Massive amount of damage and great plays from Yaomad, and that relocate.
Exactly.
Perfect timing.
It is actually also very important with those relocates that you don't let him get out and then get back in, because he comes back in with well regen. So for the first 3 seconds or so, it's 35 regen, which added on to the Chaos Knight is more like 50 regen per second of both mana and health.
Dire's top tower isn't well at the moment.
Look at that overcharge, just the right click on that.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, we've got a fortification's going to stick around for a little bit longer, but it's 100% going to go down. So that's tier 2, and that's the 3rd tower down for Belem 5, and now they've only got a tier 1 bottom and 2 tier 2s left before high ground. So things are looking a little bit worrying for Belem 5.
Oh.
And Puck might be found, maybe telekinetic pickup, and or Storm manages to just make it onto the high ground.
But
Still
he's
a
going
little bit
back
of
for the
left over,
puck. He
so
wants
if
that
can-
puck.
if can
He
get the
really
puck-
wants puck.
Yeah.
He was gunning for him so hard.
Bit of a
Oh, we got an IO.
relocate.
Relocate.
Coming out.
Tower has uninvited guests.
Oh, bad relocate for these guys. And they're going to try and get out because...
I think he's better off leaving him.
Oh,
He's going to have to get off. Yep, he's going to go back on his own. Leave the Chaos Knight to kill him.
and down goes the Superstar if they can finally all get out of that stun from the Centaur.
That's
The
right.
four-man stun coming from that Centaur.
Centaurs seem to feature quite funnily in Dota fails.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, huge reality rift, and now Puck pops out the silence, but it's not going to be enough once that leech seed. Oh, maybe it does.
Oh.
Yeah, manages just
And
to get it.
yeah, gee.
That glimpse back.
One thing Chaos Knight's been incredibly good with up in top lane when they first started engaging was reversing that tower aggro onto the creeps. Like, I saw him a few times. He was right-clicking Luna, and then you could see he clicked on his creep, and then he'd go back to right-clicking her. So the tower, like, kept not hitting him. It kept changing
Dire's
targets.
middle tower is under fire.
So really good awareness from
Yep.
from the Chaos Knight, and he's halfway towards his armlet right now. We got Headdress and Buckler up on the IO, and so he's 700 gold away from getting that mech, with just even more regen for his team.
There we go. That's an example of the percentage base. He just dropped his arcane boots on the floor before they all mech'd. Before they all mana booted, sorry. That Luna's going to go down again, I think.
Happening on this Luna up top. And they rotated the Storm Spirit here right now. Luna pops the ulti, the Luna... And Storm
not
Spirit
enough.
drops so low, but the spirit damage from the IO managing to finally take it out, and he manages to tether soon enough to bring out that Storm Spirit out of that top lane predicament that the heroes were rotating.
I was actually kind of
to,
disappointed they didn't
go
get
in.
disrupt from their side this game. Because there's a Na'Vi troll strat where IO teleports Disruptor here on their carry's respawn, and then glimpses them back to where the carry died.
Dire's middle tower
Oh,
is
And
that's
again.
good.
Yeah.
If they buy back.
No, just in general, they wait for the respawn, and then it's 4 seconds from where you were last. Oh.
Right. So if you're dead, it still takes
Yep.
you back.
Yep,
That's-
it works the same way as
that's
the Weaver. You know how with the Weaver, if you respawn, you can time lapse to where you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works the same way as that, except not so great for the person you do it to.
Dire's middle tower.
Reality Rift on the Puck. Puck
Oh.
is going to get sucked in Electric Vortex so he's not going to be able to blink or jump out on in his orb. And now they're going to be taking high ground here, and they absolutely can if they want to. They have
Yep.
enough regen and enough sustain to take that if they wanted to. But I think they might just rotate down to the Rosh pit.
Yeah, they've got a Blink Dagger on the next now too,
And get that Aegis.
because they didn't have enough long range initiation.
Lovely.
People are... It's just going to be
With the
brutal.
IO and Chaos Knight, nah, definitely not enough. Or the Storm Spirit. So Storm Spirit is only 2 parts away from his Bloodstone, and armor is up on Chaos Knight. The only items that we can see on the side of Belem 5 is Arcane Boots on the Timbersaw, and that is it. There's no Blink Dagger on the Puck. There's no Bloodstone even started on the Timbersaw. And Luna, she's just got a Bassi and Treads.
Yep.
That's
She's
it.
actually done quite well, considering the circumstances.
She was focused quite severely.
Yep. Every time that
So Storm
relocate's
Spirit's
been
gonna
up,
pick up the Aegis.
they're pretty much gone for her.
Situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, why not? That Chaos Knight's not going down anytime soon with 1700 health and an IO.
Yeah, and you know if Storm Spirit goes down, that's a full regen with his mana.
Yep. I think they're going for high ground here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
I
attack.
think they will. They got Aegis. Why not?
Exactly, and all the towers except for bottom tower are full health. though. Oh, relocate gank on the Luna. She's going to ulti, but it's not going to be enough. They've got the mech. They're just too tanky now. They're going to kill the puck as well.
And then the call in reality rift.
They got three
Trying to juke
3
through the
seconds.
trees. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive.
Puck,
But
he's going to leave him.
Damn.
I think that was a good call.
Yeah.
Taking out the puck is
So
good.
he's going to be stuck up top. Now Io is trying to overcharge and regen this Storm Spirit all at once, but he's fine with dropping because he's got the Aegis. Io's going to take a little bit of damage though.
Middle tower is in the wrong end of business.
Definitely. The other thing is Io, that overcharge turns Io so tanky. 20% damage reduction incoming is ridiculous.
Yeah, and although he does lose, health over time, that's nothing with the amount of damage reduction that he has.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
amount of damage output that he gives to whoever he's tethered to.
In the wrong end of business.
Yeah, exactly, because they get the protection and the attack speed, and that's just obscene. You put that on the end of a carry.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
There's a reason you have to focus the IO first.
Yeah, and even with the tower hitting, every single time that Chaos Knight's been attacking this tower, he's been doing the shift, the shift attack. So to cancel the back.
That's right.
Of the animation,
And
speed up.
I noticed we had a little bit of a tapping, like the IO was tapping the overcharge before, up in the safe lane. When
Down goes Rubik. Now,
Oh,
reality
wow.
rift of the Timbersaw. Timbersaw's going to go down.
Middle barracks are
That's
getting
a
it.
triple kill
Yep.
going the way of Chaos Knight, and that's going to be some lovely little, items for you guys just before the end of the match. GG gets called. Yao Mad, amazing plays. Only 3 kills given up to 29. Huge kills thanks to this Io and Chaos Knight combination. The Treant was one of the Treant, Io and Chaos Knight was one of the best aggressive trail lanes that I've ever seen in an amateur or pub match, and it really worked. And the Storm Spirit, he made the best of the mid that he could, and was really effective in the mid game. So it was just too powerful for Belem 5 to stand up to it. And let's hopefully see a little bit of a closer match number 2 of this best of 3. Who would you name as MVP, Silk?
Probably, like ignoring the IO, because obviously the IO was obscenely good that game, but ignoring the IO, I would have to say the Treant. He had really good awareness, made sure the right people got the heals, wasn't just focusing the carries, he was making sure that when certain people were likely to go down, they'd get a heal. So, yeah, no, I think the Treant had really good awareness.
Yeah, I think the movement and the overall attention to detail of Warden of the Warden of Eon's Past is who's the Chaos Knight, really made that match for his team. So
that's right.
Every attack animation that he got, he shortened it, and he made sure that he got every single hit that he could with his Chaos Knight, and focused the right people at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So thank you all for watching so far, whether you're on Dota TV or Twitch.tv. Make sure you guys click that follow button just below the stream, and you guys can check us out for more casting that we'll be doing for SDL as well as some other tournaments. This is only game 1. We got game 2 coming up of Yamad versus Belem 5, so make sure you stick around for that. Check us out during the break. Check us out on Twitch or on Facebook or Twitter or whatever you'd like. Shoot us a tweet. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, I'm Berkeley. Joining me is Silk, and we are from 4 States Casting.